the channel. Now, a lot of you who follow regularly know that I've been selling a few of my pieces on eBay due to popular request. Now, as I promised, the money raised from these sales have been put back into the channel, and I've been purchasing some wonderful wood from a company called Yandles in the UK. Now, Yandles is the same place actually where I got my lathe from. They sell just about everything to do with crafting. Especially they have an enormous warehouse full of amazing pieces of wood. Now, unfortunately, I don't live near Yandles, but the manager very kindly gets his video camera out and walks around the warehouse where the wood is, and points at pieces of wood, and I say yes or no. And I couldn't help but say yes at this beautiful piece of brown Mallee Burl. Now, Mallee Burl is from southwest Australia, and it's known for its incredibly beautiful grain, which we are going to try and uncover in here. Now, I'm wearing gloves because this guy's got teeth. This incredible grain, surface pattern here is caused by the burls, and it's pretty unique to kind of Eucalyptus mallee family. Now, gloves are on because a lot of these spikes are absolutely razor sharp, and I've already got a few puncture wounds already from looking at it. Now, we're going to try and create a bowl from this, and the bowl is going to be on this top area, and it's going to be in this center. Now, we've got such a beautiful shape, so it seems a shame to lose any of it. I do have a slight problem that I do have an 18-inch turning capacity over the bed, and this is spot on 18 inches. So if I don't get it spot on the middle, I am going to catch on the ends, and I may have to nick a bit off, but don't worry, I have thought about a solution for that. Right, so first of all, I think I'm going to use a face plate, or shall I use a worm screw? Right, we're not turning into end grain, so I think a worm screw will be okay. So we'll get that sorted and we'll get it on the lathe. Okay, I'm taking it back off. I don't think the worm screw is going to hold it. I'm not 100% confident in it, so I'm going to take it off, put a faceplate on, and then I'll bring it back when I've got it back on the lathe. Okay, we're on the lathe, thank goodness for that. Now, in terms of clearances, we've just about got the thickness of my saw blade underneath between the edge of this and the lathe bed, so it's going to be interesting. Okay, I'll bring up the tailstock to give us support and to help keep us safe. We shall get sharpened up, and then we shall begin. Okay, right, we're sharpened up, and we're about ready to begin. Now, there's no safety concerns necessarily with Mallee Burl. It's not poisonous or anything like that. It's part of the Eucalyptus family, so it all should be all right. So we'll just take the normal precautions. I am going to keep a glove on my left hand at the start because these little spikes that are on here, I don't want them coming off at high speed and embedding themselves into the back of my hand. So we'll start off slowly, start clearing this away, and see what kind of shape starts to emerge. Right, we're working our way through. We haven't started touching this side yet, but that's looking nice. It's incredibly hard wood, and you can see how long I've been going, and I've only just cleared the area, and it really is grabbing the tool, trying to yank it out of my hand. But we'll keep going. I've seen a lot of people have a great deal of success with these kind of pieces using carbide, so I will always keep an eye on that, and if I feel like swapping to a carbide, I'll let you know. But we'll carry on going for the moment with a bowl gouge and see how things progress. We should start hitting this area very soon, I think. here it's starting to make connection this side, which is good. Now, one thing I have to be very careful of is that I don't go too far up here, because with usual kind of wing bowls like this, I want the bowl to be sitting proud of the rim. So I don't really want to go much further up than that. It might end up being a funny shape, this. I may have to think very carefully. See how far, if I work a bit more around this area, see if I can start getting through to the, or get past the sapwood, get past these spikes at the base, and we'll see how we're looking there, I think. But this is going to be very much a case of winging it until we can get to a design that we feel we're comfortable with. Okay, we're not quite through yet, but I'm glad we're getting that flat. How much thickness do we have? This is about 3.5 inches thick, maybe 3. So we've got a bit of room. Now, when I pushed this initial spike in from the tailstock, it wasn't sat exactly flat on the wood surface. It wasn't straight in. And you could tell that because as this is spinning round, you do see that flexing a little bit. So what I'm going to do is quickly take this away, flatten off this surface, and then re-put the tailstock back in to keep everything as flat as possible and as straight as possible. Alright, that's better. I feel a lot happier about now about that connection. Right, we've got a nice flat surface here. I'm going to start taking away this area until we're nearly cutting it all the way around. If we end up leaving some of this pattern, then that's fantastic, but I need to be able to get a bowl base shape in this area. Okay, I've got a pretty well defined area that's going to be the base of the bowl shape, and I've got to try and figure out how high I can come safely to create the bottom of the wing area. If I put the tool rest at the maximum extremity, I just want to see how much of an offset I've got on the top between its highest and lowest point, so I know how much room I've got on the top to work with. Okay, it's about 1/4 inch off between the lowest and highest point on this side, so that's not too bad. So if I imagine about 1/2 inch down, maybe a bit further. Right, that little dot there is pretty much where the base of the wing needs to be. So I need to take this down all the way across until I start getting rid of that. That hopefully will be giving me enough room on the top to create the lip of the bowl and the wings as well. Okay, right, that's a good point to aim for. Right, we're just about there. I'm going to swap over to a scraper now, just to even up this surface, take off the last little bits of material, and then we'll start redefining this shape. Actually, shall I leave that for now? Because I'll probably have to do it again. Okay, right, let's leave it that bit for now. going to create enough of a flat base to put my recess in, and then figure out what shape I need to have this to get the lip onto into the top. I'm taking the tail stuck away just to try and get this curve in, but I do need to go and sharpen it again because this material really is knocking 7 bells out of that ball gouge. It's worth it though, isn't it? Okay, I was having a great problem making a normal push cut there, so I ended up turning the flute all the way over and just pulling it to try and get rid of the tool marks. We've still got a little bit there, but I'll quickly fine that up with a scraper. Now I've had a quick look at the side again, and it's looking good, but it's angled too much in. I think it needs to be a bit flatter, so I need to come back in here and start working this kind of area in. I'm going to do that with a scraper to try and get this perfectly flat. To help me gauge this, I'm going to have the tool rest perpendicular to the lathe bed. To help me gauge it properly. Okay, scraper's all sharpened up. I've got a nice burr on that edge now, which is going to do the cutting. I'm going to have the handle slightly up, and we're going to pull it across until we get this edge here parallel with the tool rest. Then we'll spend a little bit of time tidying up this edge and get rid of that tool mark just there. Then we can put the recess in and sand. That's not good, is it? Okay, right. Back in a second. Let's quickly sort out the faceplate. Okay, I've replaced the screws. We do have to come back over this and realign this bowl. I've put that scraper on the naughty step. Like all good workmen, I shall blame my tools. I'm going to go back in with a negative rake scraper this time. Be a little bit more gentle and see how we get on. We need to flatten off this surface, and then we'll need to unfortunately come back into here and realign all these areas. Okay, it's going well. We're nearly back to where we were. The catch area is in there, so when I tidy up this joint area here, that'll go. But I've still got to realign this base and the side, because if you see it going around, it's not square anymore. That's purely because we had to put screws back in, unfortunately. But these things happen. When things go bad, never worry about it. Just think of a way to solve it. Right, that's pretty good now. Along that edge. still got a bit of work to do on these extremities, which is going to be a little bit tricky, I think, given how much this is wobbling. I think we'll tackle that now. A lot of this I think is going to have to be done with sanding, but what I am going to do is sharpen up my bowl gouge as sharp as I can and just do the very gentlest of passes across here, really, really slowly. See how that does. There's not enough wood, you're not hitting wood long enough to be able to get a decent contact with it. Right, I'm going to put the recess in and then we'll fix the rest with sanding, I think. I really can't wait to put a finish on this. It's absolutely amazing. That is just glorious. Right, come, got stuff to do. Right, that's as good as I can get it with tools. It's such an odd shape as you cut in these areas. You know, you're hitting them, missing, then hitting them, missing, and it's virtually impossible to try and get a flat cut. So I'm going to sort all of these problems with sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it as usual, and I shall bring you back when it's done. Okay, happy with that. It's sanded beautifully. Got rid of all the tool marks on the wings. Now we're going to put a finish on at the end. I think we'll go with the Danish oil again. But I just want to put a bit of isopropyl over the top, just to get a look at what this is going to look like and just to clean out the pores as well. Oh God, I'm excited. Look at that. That is just stunning. Okay, right, we'll let this dry off. I shall turn it round and we shall see if we can do just as well on the other side. Okay, we've turned round, I've sharpened up. Now before I get started, I want to make a mark on the top of here where the outer edge of the bowl is going to be. Now, I'm going to look over the top and try and gauge a natural line that looks like it extends from the bottom and draw this round. The top isn't completely flat, so I'm having to push against it. Maybe something like that. We're going to be missing edges around this area, possibly there, once we've gone down a bit. But that's okay, that's going to give it a nice natural look to the edge. But having this white line on is just going to be able to help me gauge the wings as I'm cutting those down. Right, as I say, I've sharpened up. So we will start off by, I think, starting at this point and working outwards at the start. I'm going to be stopping fairly frequently and checking the depth of the wings. I want to try and get it fairly narrow, nice and refined, but we'll play by ear as we're getting on. quick check, see how we're getting on. Okay, the wing is about half an inch thick at the moment. I'd like to go a little bit narrower than that. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go and sharpen up again, and we shall continue. In a second I'm going to start getting a more defined edge here, but I'll just worry about getting this to the right depth first. Okay, the surface is looking good. The thickness wise, it's just about there. Maybe go a little bit thinner, but we'll worry about that in a second. Now I'm just going to get my skew out and start cutting in here to get a defined lip on the outside of the bowl edge. I may just slightly undercut it a little bit so it kind of matches with the outside shape. I know that's going to be an absolute pain to sand, but I think it'll look nicer. Okay, I'll have a chance for a little bit more refining at the end, but I'm liking the look of that. Okay, next step now, we've got to start worrying about the bowl. I'm going to get this surface nice and flat first, and then we'll start hollowing out. Okay, that looks so nice. There isn't a square inch in this wood that I do not like. Right, okay, so we need to start deciding where the inside of the lip is going to be. Now we've got these spiky horrible bits coming into the edge, so we want the start of the bowl to be inside of that. Now, initial thinking is that looks too deep for the bowl. So whether or not, it's all because of this. I'll tell you what, no, let's embrace this edge. We'll have the inside of the bowl coming from there, I think. I'm going to embrace the natural elements of this wood and show it off. So the bowl going down, I don't know how much of this it's going to eat into, but whatever it eats into, that's absolutely fine with me. Still got a bit of work to do there. Right, I'm going to go and sharpen up again, and we'll start hollowing this out. Okay, hollowing's going nicely. I'm being very careful to try and follow this outside angle from the bowl to try and mirror that as much as I can. And it's looking good. We have, where is it? There it is. We have, as I suspected, lost this inside edge, but that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to make sure we sand that very sympathetically at the end to make sure it still looks okay. Still not 100% certain on this rim yet. I have undercut it a little bit. Whether or not it needs to go a little bit further, I'm not sure. Before I take this tailstock away and we lose that support, I'm going to revisit this area and see what I can do with it to make myself feeling a little bit happier about it. So anyway, I'm going to go and sharpen up again, and we shall continue. time's going very well. That's not going to take an awful lot to finish out, but we are getting to the point where I need to take away the tailstock. So before I do that, so I can keep this extra support, I'm just going to use a diamond shaped carbide just to undercut this lip just a little bit more and do this little bit of feathering that I need to here. When that's done, we can finish off this, start sanding, and then put a finish on. Okay, scraping time. I'm going to use my negative rake one again to finish this off, as the other one is still in timeout. Okay, we're all sharpened up, ready to go. That took a little bit longer than expected because my beautiful wife brought me in a nice egg sandwich from a lunch. Right, let's get this finished off. Okay, that should do it. Right, I shall set up for sanding. As ever, I'll let you watch a bit of it, and I shall bring you back when we're all done. Well, as you can imagine, that took a while, but we're done. And I am absolutely and utterly in love. I just really can't wait to put a finish on this. So anyway, I'm going to get cleaned up and I'll bring you back in a second and we'll start putting the finish on. Okay, we're all set up to put the finish on. We're going to use Danish oil again, as we have done a few times recently. For those new to the channel, remember, if you are using Danish oil, be very, very careful how you dispose of your cloths because it can spontaneously combust. So please be aware. Now, using Librons, because it has a slightly quicker drying time than many others, and I'll be able to put another coat on in about 6 or 7 hours. So this is the bit I've been dying to do for so long. Oh wow. This is the first time I've turned one of the Australian burls, and it has completely lived up to all expectations. It is just absolutely glorious. Okay, now in about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to come back and wipe off all the excess and allow it to dry. Whichever Danish oil you use, please make sure you do carefully read the drying instructions, because if you put a second coat on too early, it can start to become sticky, which could spoil your whole piece, and after all the effort we put in, we don't want that to happen. Right. So I'll just turn this back over, let it sit. Okay, you don't have to wait while I put on a few more coats. I'll bring you back when it's all done. There we have it. A rather pretty brown Mallee Burl live edge bowl. Now, I can't tell you the actual joy I'm feeling now just looking at this incredible grain. It really is just something you don't often get a chance to see and to appreciate. I'll just try and hold it up to this camera here, and hopefully you can get an idea of just how utterly amazing this thing looks. There's detail in the burls in the grain which just look like they're from a different world. So I think we can safely say I'm quite happy with this one. The tricky thing was really trying to get the undercut on the rim, and so it matches up with the bowl on the outside. But I think I've got that just about right. So it looks like the bowl is sitting in a piece of wood as opposed to being slightly different on the top and the bottom. I know I mentioned it during the video, but there isn't a single inch on the surface of this wood that I do not like. It is just absolutely, utterly amazing. I'll put some high-res photos at the end, and of course there'll be more on my social media, Instagram and Facebook and the Ko-fi site. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen to this bowl. I have had a few auctions recently, but we're running into the point where I'm not sure if they'll make it to people in time for Christmas, so I don't think I'll be listing anymore unless there's any special requests. If you want this bowl to add to your collection, then please feel free to email me. I'm always open to recuperating money we spend on wood so we can buy more wood and carry on the process. There are still 3 eBay auctions. I think they've got another 2 days to go, but I'll leave descriptions, I'll leave links to those in the description below. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe and all those usual things. And if you could share it as well, that would be absolutely amazing. Look at it. All right, well, thank you very much indeed. I'll see you next time. Thank you.